Mr. Said An, CEO of Bank Islami, has joined us in this session. And next to him is Mr. Shoaib, who is the company secretary. Then Mr. Sadiq Farouk, who is the financial control of the bank. On my left side, Mr. Rizwan Atta, who is the head of distribution, country head distribution. Then next to him is Mr. Zahi Ilahi Babar, who is looking after corporate banking and investment banking. And Mr. Kashif Nisar, who is head of product structuring and development. We have a brief presentation. Which I try to spend like 30 minutes to brief you on the performance of Bank Islami, and then followed by the question answer sessions for next 30 minutes. We'll be covering the introduction, a brief introduction of the bank. This will be the standard slide. We'll be covering the bank and its vision, mission, and core values, followed by the major sponsors of the bank and the range of services and products being offered by the bank. Then we'll cover the key financial highlights, covering the total assets, financing and deposits, and other financial indicators. Then we'll share you a couple of slides on the achievements and initiatives taken by the bank during the year 2021. Followed by this will be the detailed financial performance, covering the investment, financing, and deposit portfolio and the income statement. Then our last slide will be the areas in focus, which will discuss the future strategy which the bank will be pursuing in the year 2022. The bank was established in 2004 and it got the license in 2005. It formally started its operations in 2006. The bank is offers a full range of financial services and corporate, commercial, and consumer and retail banking and investment banking activities. We have now 340 branches which are covered across 120 plus cities of Pakistan. The rating of the bank is A+ in long term and A1 in short term, with positive outlook. Here is the vision, mission, and the core values which actually we inculcate in our culture of the bank. We make sure that all the employees of the bank live these values on daily basis while providing services to the customers and other stakeholders, which includes product authenticity, teamwork, humility, customer focus, meritocracy, innovation, and integrity. Here's the list of major sponsors and shareholders of the bank, which includes SARS Capital, together with Mr. Ali Hussain. It holds 24% shareholding in Bank Islami. Followed by this is Indian company. They own 21.26% in Bank Islami Pakistan. Then there's the Randri family of DCD Group. These are two individuals who together hold 14.25% in the bank. And there is Emirates MBD based in Dubai. They hold 13.01%. It is important to note that on March 7, 2022, the board of JS Bank has shown its intent and approved to acquire 7.79% shareholding of Bank Islami from Emirates MBD, which is subject to various regulatory approvals and their shareholders' approval. These are the regulators who govern and regulate Bank Islami. It includes State Bank of Pakistan, SCB, PSX, and PB. Here's the distribution of bank's branch network, which is widely distributed across all the major cities and the small cities of Pakistan. On northern side, which covers the capital city Islamabad and the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where we have 75 branches. Then there's Lahore, the whole Punjab, which actually have these 110 branches. Then there's like southeast and southwest, which covers Sindh province and Balochistan province. There we have 79 and 76 branches respectively. If you look at the distribution of all these branches, like 340 branches, so we have 276 branches located in urban cities, and the rest of the branches are covering in the rural cities, which is also the requirement of the State Bank of Pakistan. While we are locating and spreading our branches, we focus on opening branches in those areas where there's a limited or no presence of Islamic banking, and there's a demand of Islamic bank. So like we have branches where there's no other bank, like we have a branch in Naran where there's no other bank exists, and we have a branch in Wapandi where there's only other bank is National Bank of Pakistan. So we have like also 347 ATMs which are located with these other with these branches, or there are offsite ATMs also where bank is providing services to its customers. This is a full suite of products and services the bank is offering. Personal banking covers the wealth management part of the for financial services, which includes all the liability side products which we are offering to our customers. Then there is investment banking, where the basically advisory and structuring of various clients are being done according to their needs and requirement. Then we are also offering corporate banking service for corporate clients and retail clients. And bank is also very much focused into growing itself into agri financing. And following this, we have developed a very good agriculture financing team, and we are growing in that also. Going forward, bank has plans to basically bring up new products into agri financing. Following this, we have also SME financing unit under corporate group, which offers and targets various services, including funded facilities and non-funded facilities to SME finance. Then bank has very robust products in auto finance and housing finance to our consumer finance and basically retail customers. These are the highlights of the products being offered to the market, which includes Muslim finance, which is mainly a mortgage financing. Then auto finance, Bank Islami Auto Finance, which is where Bank Islami is amongst the top 5 auto finance providers. And then bank also basically enjoys the USP of one-touch banking. This is a very unique service being provided by the bank to its customer, where basically customers of Bank Islami enjoys all kind of services through their branch counters without using any checkbook or ATM card. They can just use their thumbprint and do any transaction they want. Followed by this is the Takaful and home remittance, which covers the wealth management part of the products. And there are various liability products being offered through Bank Islami branches. And we also cover we have various basically customer touch points in terms of digital delivery channel, where customer can use the services of the bank through like internet banking, mobile banking, and the PayPal card. And we are also very close to start offering the international scheme cards to our customers. The highlights of the performance of year 2021. The bank, alhamdulillah, basically the landmark achievement for the bank in 2021 is the deposit base, which grew by 21.54% versus 17% of the industry growth. We alhamdulillah closed 345 billion in deposits. While doing that, we crossed the 300 billion barrier in 2021, and alhamdulillah, we have also achieved or crossed 1 billion barrier in deposit per branch. Basically, these deposits were grew on the back of growth in the current deposits, which alhamdulillah grew by 37%, and it has now reached to 131 billion. Looking at the financing side, alhamdulillah, in 2021, we were also very focused to deploy this liquidity generated through deposits into revenue, various of earnings. Doing that, we grew our financing portfolio by 39% and closed the book at 181 billion. Investment portfolio also grew by 30%, and we closed our investment portfolio at 124 billion. Out of 124 billion, 99% is basically government backed. Either it is GOB Jara Sukuk or any non-government securities backed by the government guarantee, and also Pakistan Energy Sukuk, which is also a SLR eligible security. In 2021, bank also achieved the ADR ratio of 56.96%. was based on the growth in the financing portfolio. Alhamdulillah, the capital adequacy ratio without any relaxation or support of the State Bank of Pakistan, we closed at 14.15%. NPL ratio, we also brought down the NPL ratio from 12% to 8.7% in 2021. Profit after tax also grew by 25% in 2021, and we closed the profit after tax at 2.13 billion. Here are some of the financial indicators and the trend analysis starting from 2018. You can see that total assets grew by 21% in 2021, and if you look at the 3 years CAGR, it was at 24%. Total net assets, if you look at the 17% growth, 13% growth we achieved in 2021, and overall CAGR for 3 years was 16%. Similarly, if you look at the total financing, the CAGR was 15% because mainly the bank achieved its growth in 2021. Total deposit grew over the period of 3 years with a CAGR of 23%. The current account grew with a CAGR of 25%, and profit after tax, alhamdulillah, grew with a CAGR of 115%. These are some of the key financial indicators. The net income margin, it actually dropped from 12.5 billion to 10.93 billion, which is a drop of 12%. It mainly caused because of the repricing of the portfolio, which largely happened after October 2020. And in 2021, all our portfolio of asset side were repriced and because of the reduction in the discount rate post-COVID by the State Bank of Pakistan. Despite the fact that we grew our overall other income, but the total income dropped from 14 billion to 13 billion, which depicts a basically drop of 8% from 2020. Total expenses grew by 10% from 8.7 billion to 9.6 billion. Total operating profit dropped from 5.3 billion to 3.4 billion, which is a drop of 36%. The main contributor in this drop was the reduction in the spreads, which happened because of the repricing of asset portfolio post October 2020. Profit before tax increased from 2.7 billion to 3.3 billion, which is a growth of 23%. Profit after tax increased from 1.7 billion to 2.1 billion, which is a growth of 25%. If you look at the capital adequacy ratio, I've actually put 2 rows in the capital adequacy, one of which shows is State Bank relaxation. Given us the relaxation in 2019 and 2020 for the purpose of adjustment of goodwill and deferred tax assets, which actually bank inherited from the amalgamation of ASB Bank. So with the support in the year 2019 and 2020, with the State Bank relaxation, capital adequacy ratio was at 14.95% in 2019 and 16.1% in 2020. And this relaxation expired on December 31st, 2021. So this 14.15%, alhamdulillah, bank achieved without any State Bank relaxation. So it was a quite challenging journey the bank had, alhamdulillah, with the efforts of the management and support of the regulator. And we achieved this. And now without any support, the bank is compliant with the capital adequacy ratio. Here are some of the achievements of the bank which it achieved in 2021. Alhamdulillah, bank is the market leader in housing finance. It has the largest number of portfolio in housing finance among all the industry players, which is around 20 billion plus. And if you look at the government of Pakistan in 2020 and 2021 was very much focused in increasing the construction and housing industry. They actually given the various targets to the banking industry, to each player. And alhamdulillah, Bank Islami was the first one to achieve the target given by the State Bank of Pakistan for Mela Pakistan, Mela Ghar. It was a commendable, alhamdulillah, milestone achieved by the Bank Islami in 2021. And Bank Islami was also the first bank to achieve the housing and construction target given by State Bank of Pakistan during 2021. Here are some of the achievements which is achieved in 2021. The IP Excellence Award, Best IP Management and Most Innovative Banking Solutions. Then Brand of the Year Award for 2020, which was actually given in 2021. Then bank also achieved the Investment Banking Award, the ABS Corporate and Investment Award in 2021 in the category of Syndicate Deal of the Year. Then there's a very prestigious award, IRBA Awards. Alhamdulillah, bank achieved the Bank Islamic Retail Best Islamic Retail Bank Award for the year 2021, and the Best Personality of the Year IRBA Awards was also won by the President CEO of Sayyid Amir Ali of Bank Islam in 2021. Then this 10th Annual CSR Summit Award was also won by Bank Islami in the category of Social Impact and Sustainability Initiatives. These are certain highlights of the major achievements in 2021. The year 2021, as I mentioned, was a landmark year for the liability side of the bank, the distribution. The bank crossed its 300 billion benchmark and also crossed the benchmark of 1 billion per branch deposit ratio in 2021. Bank Islami, as I mentioned, is also very much focused, is among the top 5 players in auto finance sector, and it made a disbursement of 14.1 billion in 2021. And in auto finance, the bank also disbursed few automobile units under SVP's Kamyab Jawan program. So we are very much supportive of the initiatives taken by the government of Pakistan, be it Kamyab Jawan program or Mera Pakistan, Mera Ghar, and similar initiatives taken by the government. Bank grew its housing finance portfolio through disbursement of 8.8 billion. As I mentioned, that we are the national leader in Pakistan in housing finance category. So we disbursed more than 8.8 billion during 2021 in housing finance. And while doing that, we also achieved the highest disbursements made by any bank in a single month, which was 1.8 billion, which represented 123 housing units in a single month, which was March 2021. So that actually shows the capacity the bank has in doing the consumer finance, particularly in housing segment. In disbursing housing financing as part of government's Mera Pakistan, Mera Ghar, as I mentioned, the bank also been recognized by State Bank of Pakistan in surpassing the target before its deadline of June 2022. The bank was given a deadline of 1 billion, and which was achieved much earlier than its target date of June 2022. The corporate banking, actually the year 2021, we were very much focused because the COVID was like the impacts of COVID were over, and the markets were open, and the global markets were open. So we started our focus towards corporate financing, and we grew our portfolio by 38% in 2021. And while doing that, we were very much focused into growing our trade business to improve our fee commission income, non-funded income. So we actually increased our trade business portfolio from 172 billion in 2022 to 266 billion achieved in 2021. As I mentioned that we were also very much focused in growing our SME portfolio. So you can see that 41% of the total trade business was contributed towards SME clients. In investment banking, we booked a fee income of 124 million in 2021. The fee income was mainly derived from advisory and arrangement services from syndicates, sukuk, and Islamic commercial papers. This is the brainchild of Bank Islami, where we issued the short-term commercial papers to meet the financial requirements of various corporate customers. In 2021, we worked as lead advisor arranger and successfully closed 5 ICP issues, amounting to rupees 25.5 billion. So far, Bank Islami has issued more than 90 billion worth of ICPs, and we are very soon going to close 100 billion benchmark of issuing the ICPs, the short-term commercial papers for various corporate customers. So this also credit actually enjoys by Bank Islamic Pakistan. Coming on to some details of the financial statements. If you look at the investment portfolio of Bank Islamic Pakistan, it consists of Pakistan Sukuk and non-government securities and other shares and associates, investments in shares and associates. So 99% of the portfolio, investment portfolio, is government backed. It is Sukuk 83 billion and Pakistan Sukuk 1 and 2 together. We hold 33 billion of portfolio. And non-government securities, which also consist of Milan Jalan Sukuk, which is again a government-backed Sukuk, 6.2 billion, and the other small investments in shares and associate companies. So 124 billion, and it was a growth of 31% the bank achieved in 2021. If you look at the financing portfolio, the breakdown of overall financing portfolio into corporate, SME, agri, and auto and housing finance. So you can see that the corporate segment, it grew by 37% from 103 billion to 141 billion. If you look at SME, it slightly dropped by 2%, but we are now very much focused in growing our basically reach into SME customers and SME markets. And we are now building specific SME teams and have built SME hubs to approach those markets. As I mentioned earlier, that Bank Islam is also very much focused into agri financing, and we have a very specialized team working on this segment. And we have now reached to various villages and farmers to provide our financial services to them. And throughout the full year 2021, we have been conducting various seminars and meetings with the villagers and the farmers to make them aware of the financial products being offered by Islamic Bank. So agriculture financing also grew in percentage terms by 170%. For normal finance, the portfolio, overall net portfolio after iteration, grew from 15.2 billion to 23 billion, which is a growth of 52% in the year. Housing finance portfolio also grew from 15.1 billion to 20.4 billion, which depicts a growth of 36%. So altogether, the gross financing portfolio Alhamdulillah grew by 38%. And if you look at the net portfolio, it grew by 39%, and we have closed the financing book at 181 billion. As I mentioned, that Bank Islami is very supportive of the initiatives taken by State of Pakistan, Government of Pakistan in providing support to the various segments of the society. So these are the certain schemes issued by State of Pakistan during COVID, and there is the participation or contribution of Bank Islami towards that. The financing for villages is being provided to 44 customers, amounting to rupees 1.8 billion. Bank Islami was also given a limit of 9.1 billion in turf, out of which 4.4 billion has been disbursed, and the remaining policies have been opened, and altogether this was provided to 29 number of customers. In combating COVID, this was a scheme launched by the State of Pakistan to provide financial support to the hospitals. We provided this facility to 2 units amounting to rupees 383 million. Here are some numbers in Mera Pakistan, Mera Ghar and Kamyab Jawan. Alhamdulillah, Bank Islam has been very successful in doing this product, and as I mentioned, we were the first one to achieve our targets, and which was appreciated at all levels, even at the government level and the state bank level. We financed 537 number of cases, which amounts to 2.7 billion. And in Kamyab Jawan, we have so far financed 665 number of cases, amounting to rupees 1.1 billion. And it's counting. In non-performing portfolio, Alhamdulillah, the bank dropped the percentage of non-performing portfolio in 2021 from 12.1% to 8.7%. Now, not only in percentage terms, in absolute terms also, we dropped this NPL portfolio from 17.5 billion to 17.1 billion. In this, actually, we provided certain, there is an addition of certain NPL types like Hascall and their settlement clients also. And we also made a recovery. So if you look at the financials review in financials out in detail, you'll find that 2.3 billion worth of amount was recovered from the delinquent portfolio of Bank Islam 2021. So if you look at and this 8.7% also includes the NPL portfolio which was inherited from KSP Bank. So if we exclude that portfolio which was inherited, so the NPL ratio comes down to 5.8%. And if you look at the provision coverage, so 85% of that portfolio NPL has been provided. And if we include the general provision basically taken by the bank in 2021, the coverage ratio increased to 89.6%. Coming on to deposit side, as I mentioned, that Bank Islami is very focused on growing its deposit base and particularly the current accounts. And it can be demonstrated from what actually Bank Islami has achieved in the year 2021. It improved its current account portfolio from 95 billion to 131 billion, which shows the growth of 38%, which I think is the highest ever Bank Islami has achieved in its history, and it's going on. If you look at the savings, it increased by 31% from 79 billion to 106 billion. And if you look at the overall CASA percentage, so CASA has improved from 180 billion to 237 billion, which is a growth of 31%. If you look at the CASA mix, in 2020, the CASA mix of the total portfolio was 64%, which Alhamdulillah has improved to 69% in the year 2021. If you look at the deposit growth over the period of past 3 years, it is at 23%. And probably if you calculate the Islamic banking industry deposit growth of past 3 years, it will come around 21 to 22%. So Alhamdulillah, Bank Islami has crossed the benchmark industry growth towards deposits. Coming on to the income statement, I mentioned that net spread dropped from 12.4 billion to 10.9 billion. This is a drop of 12% mainly because of the repricing effect, which actually kicked in towards the end of 2020, and the full year of 2021 was suffered because of the repricing of the portfolio, which actually came after dropping the discount rate from 13.25% to 7%. Despite the fact that Bank Islami improved its non-funded income from 1.6 billion to 2.1 billion, which is a growth of 30%. The total income dropped from 14 billion to 13 billion, which is a drop of 8%. The administrative expenses increased despite the inflation number was 11 to 12%. The administrative expenses increased by 10%. Overall provisions, if you look at last year 2020, it was at 2.6 billion. Alhamdulillah, based on the recoveries made and efforts made by the team, the net provision amount was 32 million. So there's an improvement of around 100% or 99% as compared to the last year. So profit after tax, we closed at 2.1 billion, which depicts a growth of 25% from last year. So coming on to the area of focus which Bank Islami is pursuing for the year 2020. Again, we are pursuing our growth in deposits, particularly in the current accounts and in the financing portfolio. We are very much focused in growing our financing portfolio on a very select clients in the segment, and then SME followed by agri. And we are already very much into the consumer auto finance and housing finance, and we try to grow our portfolio in these segments in the year 2022. With regards to the trade business, we have already basically improved our capacity to handle large volume of trades. We have made very much investments in the trade operations, and we have made trade hubs at the markets where there is a potential for trade business, and we are striving to improve our trade business. We have very aspirational high targets for the year 2022. 266 billion trade we did in 2021, and we strive to increase these numbers in 2022. Definitely, while doing that, our prime focus would be to comply with all the regulatory requirements and to make sure that Bank Islami remain compliant with all the necessary regulatory requirements of the State Bank of Pakistan and other regulators. So this will be the area of focus. Also, we are investing into the basically various IT systems and applications in the year 2022 to strengthen our internal control environment and the information security and of the technology. With regards to branch network, we were aspiring to increase our branch network since 2020, and post-COVID, we deferred our plan, and we were reviewing the market, and we now feel that this is the time to improve or increase our branch network and outreach to the areas where there is no presence of Islamic banking or where Bank Islami doesn't exist. And we have targeting now to increase our branch network by 40 new branches. We are also planning to increase our digital footprint by bringing in new services in the basically era of the technology and the digital services. As I mentioned, we are also planning to launch international payment scheme very soon to add to our digital product suite, and we are also working on improving our existing digital channels, and we are also working on certain initiatives which probably would be the first of its kind in the banking industry. So we are working on its prototype, and very soon we'll be coming to digital services in the digital. That's it from my side. Would now like to open the floor for any question and answer. I would request that whoever would like to ask any question, they may write in the message box, or they may raise or use the raise hand option in the Zoom. We'll unmute the participant, and they can then proceed with their questions.
Chat.
जी रजा रजा है ना
आपको अनम्यूट करना
रजा आप अनम्यूट कर रहा रजा को
रजा
आप अनम्यूट कर लें और
okay, can you hear me now? Okay, sir, I have a couple of questions. My first question is, obviously your current account has grown by phenomenal growth in current account. So it's around the current account to deposits is around 37%. So what was the average current account to deposit in the last quarter, and what is the sustainable number we can expect in the next year?
This account ratio was the same. Basically, it grew with the overall deposit base. It doesn't happen actually if you are only growing the current account and you are not growing your other products like we just saving products and term deposits. So when actually we push the sales team to grow the deposit base, definitely there's a little bit additional incentive to grow the current account. Naturally, the growth comes into the current account and other products also. So if you ask me that what is the last quarter's average of current account ratio, the total deposit, it was same.
Okay. Sir, my second question is, can you give the duration of a GOP Ijara? How much is floating and how much is fixed?
It's all floating also. We have with us
at present, thank you. So at present, our entire GOP Ijara Sukuk is based on floating rate of return.
Okay. So my next question is that obviously after the state bank relaxation and your car is now above the, it's reflecting the normalized value and it's above the requirement. So have you given any for dividend payout?
We are definitely working towards that. And there was a point of discussion in the last morning. So the board is considering the right time to do it because there are certain elements which will come into play in 2022, which includes the IFRS 9 particularly. The IFRS 9, which actually State Bank has already planned to adopt it. Everybody is now basically looking for the date for its implementation. The expected date was January 1st, 2022. And when it will be implemented, it will have a significant impact on the capital adequacy ratio of any bank. So I think board of Bank Islami is watchful of this basically development. So once it is implemented and it is clear that what is the guideline of the State Bank of Pakistan about adoption and how the impact of adoption on car will be treated, whether it will be in 1 year or whether it will be spread over the 3 years. So based on that, basically the decision of dividend will be taken.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. We can now take question from Mr. Mohammed Saad.
Assalamu alaikum. Ji sir, thank you for your time. I just have a few questions. First of all, you just mentioned that IFRS 9 is planned to be implemented this year, and previously the management of BIPL had shared that it would have a impact of around ₹1 billion on the bank's equity. Can you share the revised updated numbers of the implication of this IFRS 9 implementation on the bank's equity?
Basically, I don't remember it being mentioned the one in effect, but really around that. But if you look at what the industry benchmark is, that it is between 0.7% to 1% of the total financing portfolio. Bank Islami is also in the same zone.
Okay, 0.7 to 1% of the total gross financing portfolio, you mean, right? Net financing. Okay, thank you. So given that this time around, one very specific difference that we have seen is that up till now, the bank's focus was on consolidating its branch network. In today's presentation, you're sharing that you intend on growing your branch network. So I'm assuming that you consider your car and other tier 1 requirements sufficient in the wake of IFRS 9, so that's the reason why you're now considering expanding a branch network. Is that so?
Absolutely, because we were very much comfortable in growing our branch network, at least to add 40 branches. And in past 2 years, we were not actually like sitting relaxed. We were working on the consolidation of the branches, and we identified certain weak performing branches or branches which were located in the low areas, and we have done various relocations in 2020 and 2021. Like it was more than 30 branches which were relocated during these 2 years.
Okay, so given the background of 40 new branches being added into the bank's portfolio, what kind of deposit growth can we expect this year?
Branches, when you add a branch, then it is added during the year. Means branches are added in second, third, or fourth quarter. So your first year it's actually a year of cost when you take a branch. And the reason for planning branches is that a bank should have enough profits to absorb the impact of opening branches, because the per month average cost, operating cost for branches is around north of ₹1 million per month. So the impact on deposit in year 1 is not very high, because these branches, depending on the location, will add per branch roughly between 100 to 300 million rupees. So that way the impact on deposit on year 1 will not be very, very significant. Probably from the second year, the impact on deposits due to opening of new branches will be higher.
Okay, and what kind of a car ratio can we expect going forward in the next year and going forward after that? If you can share, because recently we have seen the CAR of the bank in the range of around 36-37%. Is this the number that's sustainable going forward as well, or do you expect a higher number?
And definitely with the growth in current account, the overall deposit base is also going to grow. So I think if we are able to sustain or maintain this ratio, it's quite a good ratio to maintain while we are growing the overall deposit base. But definitely aspirations are aspirations. We aspire to improve that. But definitely the focus will be to maintain this ratio while growing the overall deposit base.
The plan is to
Okay.
grow, frankly, as far as our budgets are concerned, we intend to grow it, but we will endeavor to maintain it. So on average, probably it will not be maintained. It will probably not grow. It will continue at this level, and because it moves from month to month and quarter to quarter, depending on the how the economy is moving, how the M2 is moving in the economy. So, but our intent and plan on paper is to grow it, but we expect to at least maintain.
Okay, and just last couple of questions with regards to the advances portfolio, the financing portfolio, sorry. If you can share what kind of advancing financing growth are you expecting in the next year, and do you see any imminent risk in that advance book of yours?
Yeah, as far as any significant risky accounts are concerned, we don't see any. But definitely, if you are in this business of credit risk, so the risk is always there. Risk, and the only way to eliminate risk is not to lend any more money. So there is a risk, and for that we have budgeted some provisioning into our budgets as well, that our forecast profitability do take into account. Then there will be some downgrades of existing customers and some absolutely new NPLs coming up. So, but there is no high exposure account which we expect to get downgraded during the year. So, in terms of any single or account existing in the portfolio, we don't see a higher risk on that. As far as the growing the financing book is concerned, so there is a pecking order in which we grow the book. Definitely, we have to remain above 50% in ADR, which we are ensuring. And then in pecking order, we go for consumer financing, which is autos and housing first, because this is an area where we believe we have a major strength and we make more money. And then comes the SME and the agri sector, primarily where we are focusing this year, and you can see the more. And then as far as corporate book is concerned, the large value, good quality rated corporate customers, they are the ones where you earn lesser money as compared to other products. So this is something where we move the balance of our liquidity, which is generated through deposits. So this is the way we work, and then like 40% or 50%, 40 to 45% of the deposit goes into the government guaranteed securities or SLR eligible securities to ensure that we remain liquid and to ensure that our capital adequacy ratio also remains above a certain level. Because if you take too much risk, then it stresses your capital out.
Okay, thank you for your time, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Usman, right.
Assalamualaikum, sir. Assalamualaikum, sir. हाँ, आमिर साहब माशाल्लाह मुबारक हो। हमने तो आपको पहले एनर्जेटिक और जवान और वो आपको कर लिया था अवार्ड, आपको अब मिला, रिकॉग्नाइज दूसरों ने अब किया, हमने तो आपको पहले ही कर लिया था। माशाल्लाह नौजवान है, यंग है। बहरहाल सर बैंक तो अच्छा है, इस्लामिक भी है, लेकिन सर ये अगर मुझे ऑनलाइन थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, बिना कोई सिग्नल्स का इशू है, तो मैं तो प्रेजेंटेशन में थोड़ा मसला है सर। एक ये है कि देखिए हमारा प्रॉफिट तो बड़ा है, अर्निंग, लेकिन इसमें इम्पैक्ट जो है वो प्रोविजन का है। जो लास्ट ईयर 2.5 बिलियन की प्रोविजन थी, इस बार नहीं है। इसमें एक साइन अच्छा है कि इस बार हमें प्रोविजन नहीं की, उसके बावजूद भी हमारा एनपीएल कम हुआ। लेकिन ये है कि अगर ओवरऑल एफिशिएंसी देखी जाए तो एफिशिएंसी में कुछ हमें प्रॉब्लम्स आए। सर दूसरे बैंकों में तो ये साल अच्छा रहा, हमें क्या हर्डल्स आई एक्चुअल कि हम जो हमारा अर्निंग है उसको हम एक्सपेंस इतना कम नहीं कर सके। जो फिगर्स भी आ रही हैं आपका पेज 33 पे के प्रॉफिट जो अर्न हुआ वो माइनस हुआ 9.75। अच्छा प्रॉफिट एक्सपेंस जो हुआ वो -7.18, मतलब थोड़ा सा हम इसको कवर नहीं कर पाए या पास ऑन नहीं कर पाए। तो मेन फैक्टर क्या था इसमें सर?
देखिए ये एक तो आप बाकी बैंक्स को भी स्टडी करेंगे और शेयर भी कर देंगे या रिसर्च एनालिस्ट भी बैठे हैं, सारे बैंक्स में यही हुआ है। जब आपके पॉलिसी रेट्स नीचे जा रहे होते हैं तो स्टॉप लाइन भी आपकी नीचे जाती है। अच्छा जो आप कह रहे हैं कि डिपॉजिट्स की कॉस्ट ऑफ डिपॉजिट सेम परसेंटेज से नीचे नहीं जाती, तो जिस बैंक के पास भी करंट अकाउंट होगा ना उस बैंक की कॉस्ट ऑफ डिपॉजिट सेम परसेंटेज से नीचे नहीं जाएगी। और तकरीबन हर बैंक के पास करंट अकाउंट होता है, क्योंकि करंट अकाउंट में कॉस्ट होती है 0, तो 0 से नीचे तो आप जा ही नहीं सकते। अगर आपका पॉलिसी रेट 10% है तो भी करंट अकाउंट पे आपने 0 प्रॉफिट पे करना है, और अगर पॉलिसी रेट 7% है तो भी 0 पे करना है। तो इसका मतलब है अगर 10% से पॉलिसी रेट 7% पे आ जाता है तो आपकी अर्निंग तो पूरे पोर्टफोलियो में 3% से ड्रॉप करेगी। लेकिन आपके डिपॉजिट्स के अंदर अगर 30% या 40% के दरमियान करंट अकाउंट है तो रिमेनिंग 55 या 60% के ऊपर आप कॉस्ट सेविंग करेंगे। तो नेचुरली अगर आप देखें तो आपका वही 30-35% का जो आपको गैप नजर आ रहा है वही नजर आएगा आपके एक्सपेंसेस की रिडक्शन के अंदर। तो यही चीज सारे बैंकों में आपको नजर आएगी जिन भी बैंक्स ने इसका प्रॉफिट डिक्लेयर किए हैं। और एज फार एज प्रोविजनिंग इज कंसर्न, प्रोविजनिंग इज अ फंक्शन ऑफ कि आपके पास कितना नॉन परफॉर्मिंग पोर्टफोलियो है। अगर आप हमारा कवरेज रेशियो देखें तो विद जर्नल प्रोविजन 89% पे चला गया है। तो स्टिल देयर इज सम पोर्टफोलियो व्हिच इज नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एंड नॉट कवर्ड, ठीक है। तो लेकिन जितना ऐसा पोर्टफोलियो था जिसको कवर करना चाहिए था एज फार एज द ऑब्जेक्टिव कंडीशन एंड द सब्जेक्टिव कंडीशन स्टेटमेंट आर रिक्वायर्ड, तो हमने 2019 में भी उसको कवर किया। आप देखें 2019 में भी प्रोविजनिंग हुई है, 2020 में भी हुई है, 2022 में भी प्रोविजनिंग हुई है ओवर 2 बिलियन रुपीस। लेकिन 2021 में भी ओवर 2 बिलियन रुपीस की प्रोविजनिंग हुई है, लेकिन साथ में रिकवरीज भी 2.3 बिलियन की या ओवर 2 बिलियन की हुई है। तो उन रिकवरीज ने उन प्रोविजंस को थोड़ा सा स्क्वायर ऑफ किया है। और कुछ उसके अंदर क्रॉनिक रिकवरीज थी, मतलब कुछ अकाउंट थे जो कई साल से खराब थे, मतलब 2018 में खराब हुए थे। कोई मतलब केएसबी बैंक के भी अकाउंट थे जहां पर हमने कुछ रिकवरीज की। तो वो रिकवरी एफर्ट जो होती है वो किसी एक पॉइंट इन टाइम पे किक इन करती है। हो सकता है इस साल हम कुछ रिकवरीज करें, कुछ अगले साल करें, तो रिकवरी एफर्ट की रिकवरी टीम उसके ऊपर काम कर रही है। तो प्रोविजनिंग तो बैंक ने उसी तरह की जिस तरह पिछले सालों में की, लेकिन इस पर रिकवरी हमें अच्छी है।
सर ये बात तो ठीक है, लेकिन आपका अगर नोट 34 देखा जाए लास्ट ईयर 2230 मिलियन की प्रोविजन थी, इस बार जो है 335 में। मैं ये कह रहा हूँ इस बार बहुत अच्छा है कि प्रोविजन कम करनी पड़ी, तो ये तो अच्छी बात है सर। लेकिन हमारे एक्सपेंसेस कुछ बढ़ गए। दूसरी बात ये सर, जो हमने बीआईपीएल सिक्योरिटी जो सेल किया है, तो सर इसका क्या अमाउंट रिसीव हुआ है? सेल कंसिडरेशन टोटल अब क्या नील हो गया हमारे अकाउंट से?
45 मिलियन अभी भी ये बीआईपीएल सिक्योरिटीज हमारा जीरो हो चुका है। पूरी जो सब्सिडी थी पूरी इन्वेस्टमेंट हमने सेल की थी, उसका गोल भी था शेयर होल्डर्स के साथ।
अच्छा सर, एक हमारे पास जो एक वो बैंक जो फ्रॉड हुआ था, जो इंटरनेशनल जो एक केस भी चल रहा था, उसमें माशाल्लाह हमारी जीत हुई है। तो सर उसका इम्पैक्ट जो आएगा वो क्या नेक्स्ट ईयर में आएगा उसका, जो वहां से जो कुछ हमें जो क्या कहते हैं आपका जो क्लेम मिल रहा है?
वो जो कन्विक्शन हुई है यूएस कोर्ट के अंदर, तो उस कन्विक्शन के अंदर उन्होंने एक अवार्ड भी किया है जो रेस्टिट्यूशन जिसे वो वहाँ कहते हैं। तो रेस्टिट्यूशन क्लेम तो उन्होंने हमारा पूरा एक्सेप्ट कर लिया है, लेकिन जिस बंदे को अरेस्ट किया है या जिन लोगों को अरेस्ट किया है उनको लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट तो हो गई है, बट प्रॉब्ली अगर वो पैसे देंगे तो रिकवरी होगी। अगर वो पैसे नहीं देंगे, जो कि अभी तक नहीं दे रहे हो, तो फिर रिकवरी नहीं होगी। तो क्योंकि दैट वाज अ क्रिमिनल इवेंट, तो जो क्रिमिनल्स थे वो डिसाइड करते हैं, या तो उन्होंने पैसे स्पेंड कर दिए होते हैं या डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दिए होते हैं, या वो डिसाइड करते हैं कि वी विल गो टू जेल एंड वी विल नॉट रिफंड द मनी। तो दिस हैपेंस एवरीवेयर इन द वर्ल्ड। तो जब तक वहां से वो क्रिमिनल जो अरेस्ट हुआ है वो कुछ पैसे नहीं देता, जब तक उन लोगों के दरमियान वो पैसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं होंगे जो उस रेस्टिट्यूशन के पेमेंट थे।
अच्छा, मतलब वो इशू अब रहता है। चले सर, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, बस यही सवाल थे, बाकी माशाल्लाह एफिशिएंसी। लेकिन सर हमारे कुछ एक्सपेंसेस बढ़ गए, चले वो बाद में डिस्कस कर लेंगे। थैंक यू सर, बहुत शुक्रिया।
सैयद मोहम्मद हनीफ साहब, आपको भी देते हैं।
Hello, do you hear me, sir?
जी जी
Hello, hello.
जी जी, आ रही है आवाज।
जी, आपकी आवाज आ रही है।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर, कैसे हैं आप? ठीक हैं?
जी वालेकुम अस्सलाम। जी हनीफ साहब, आप सवाल पूछना चाह रहे हैं? We can move on to other participants like Farooq Khan sir. Please go ahead.
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम। Sorry, am I?
वैसे तो मार्केट की जो आपके जो कैपिटलाइजेशन है,
आपकी आवाज ब्रेक हो रही है। फरूख साहब, आप प्लीज प्रोसीड करें।
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मेरा सवाल, I just had two questions, एक on the deposit side, एक on the advances side। तो deposit side पे I think very commendable, I think current account में growth 2 साल में तकरीबन 90% है। I've been following Bank Islami and Islamic banking for good 10-15 years now, तो I think Bank Islami की history में मैंने कभी भी as such कोई खास growth नहीं देखी। तो I think the change in the management team in 2018 is largely down to that. My question was that इसके अंदर इस्लामिक बैंकिंग में हमें पोटेंशियल तो बहुत दिखता है, जाहिर है मार्केट एज अ मार्केट लीडर मीज़ान की ग्रोथ सबके सामने है। आर देयर एनी स्पेसिफिक इंडिकेटर्स कि आप लोग असेस कर रहे हैं कि एट द ब्रांच लेवल, एट द रिटेल लेवल चीजें चेंज हुई हैं, द कस्टमर सर्विस इज इम्प्रूव्ड, यू आर गेटिंग मोर ट्रैक्शन, द ब्रांड इज बेटर? तो एक तो ये डिपॉजिट्स रिलेटेड सवाल है, जस्ट सो दैट वी कैन गेज कि ये जो ग्रोथ है, how is this and how sustainable is it and how do you see it going forward as well?
इसका आंसर करंट अकाउंट या जो भी डिपॉजिट्स हैं, जो उसका नंबर जो बैलेंस शीट में पब्लिश होता है ना, इट्स एन आउटकम। अपने आप में वो नंबर कुछ नहीं होता, वो नंबर आपको, एंड इट्स अ लैगिंग इंडिकेटर, जो काम उसके पीछे हुआ होता है वो उसके बाद वो नंबर नजर आता है। सो इन टर्म्स ऑफ ब्रांड एक्टिवेशन और सर्विस डिलीवरी और reorganization of the distribution network और reinforcement in terms of human resources, वो सारे एलिमेंट्स उसके पीछे होंगे। तो आपको सबसे पहले तो अपनी अच्छी ह्यूमन रिसोर्स चाहिए होती है, बिकॉज दिस इज अ पीपल बिजनेस। So you have to have good people in the team in every single branch, then a right size of team, because अगर आप under staffed होंगे तो आप ब्रांच के एक्सपेंसेस तो पूरे इनकर कर रहे होंगे, लेकिन उसका रेवेन्यू पूरा जनरेट नहीं कर रहे होंगे। तो उस तरह फिर हमारी जो बिजनेस डेवलपमेंट शेयर फोर्स है, उसको पूरा रीऑर्गेनाइज करके रीडिप्लॉय और रीडिफाइन करना, नेटवर्क को पूरा रीडिजाइन करना, नंबर ऑफ एरियाज को, देन रेलेवेंट राइट इंसेंटिव्स क्रिएट करना फॉर पीपल टू ब्रिंग डिपॉजिट्स एंड टू ब्रिंग मोर बिजनेस। तो ये सारे एलिमेंट्स होते हैं जो सब आप जब उन सबको ठीक करना शुरू करते हैं तो ये एक आउटकम आपके पास आना शुरू होता है। बिल्कुल ऐसे ही है कि ये y के पीछे ABCDEFGH इज इक्वल टू y, तो वो सारे आपको ठीक करने पड़ते हैं, जिसमें ब्रांड एक्टिवेशन भी करनी पड़ती है। आपने खुद नोटिस किया होगा कि बैंक इस्लामी अब आपको नजर आता होगा सोशल मीडिया पे भी, डिजिटल मीडिया पे भी, प्रिंट, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक, टीवी, सब जगहों पे नजर आएगा, तो वो भी एलिमेंट है। फिर राइट मॉनिटरिंग के टूल्स भी एलिमेंट है कि राइट स्कोर कार्ड बने हुए हो, टारगेट सही दिए हो। तो सारे जब आप एलिमेंट इंटीग्रेट करते हैं तो देन देयर इज रेसिपी फॉर सक्सेस। एक सिंगल एलिमेंट को आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि आपने सिर्फ सर्विस ठीक कर दी तो डिपॉजिट आ जाएगा, या आप सिर्फ एडवर्टाइजिंग कर देंगे तो डिपॉजिट आ जाएगा। आपने सारी चीजें करनी है राइट कॉम्बिनेशन के अंदर।
ठीक है, so if I hear you correctly, I think it's a very valid answer that आपने दिया है। तो I think if I understand correctly, what you're trying to say is कि एक momentum इन चीजों से build हो गया and you should carry that forward into 2022 and beyond.
इसका आंसर बड़ा वो मैं कहता हूँ ना, हिस्ट्री इज द ओनली सर्टेन थिंग। तो past if you look at past तो 2019 में 24% की ग्रोथ थी, 2020 में भी 24% की ग्रोथ थी और 2023 में 22% की ग्रोथ है। अगर 3 कंसिस्टेंट ईयर में आपको ग्रोथ मिल रही है ओवर 20% की, तो उसका मतलब है कि कुछ इंग्रेडिएंट जो है वो राइट कॉम्बिनेशन में वर्क कर रहे हैं, एंड दैट सर्टेन पास इज एन इंडिकेटर फॉर द फ्यूचर इंशाल्लाह।
Fair enough. अच्छा, मेरा जो दूसरा सवाल था that was related to advances, so I think my question was कि कोई advances book का maybe 30% या little less than 30% has been lent out to the public sector. तो इसमें जाहिर है NPL तो नहीं आता, but इसमें जो accrual है उसमें कोई issue तो नहीं आते? I mean, or are you totally okay with that whole portfolio?
जो गवर्नमेंट पोर्टफोलियो होता है उसको एक तो कैरी करने का नेचुरल रीजन ये होता है कि इट अट्रैक्ट्स जीरो रिस्क वेट, और उसकी वजह से आपको कैपिटल चार्ज मैनुअली जाता है। तो एज फार एज बैंक इस्लामी इज कंसर्न, बाकी बैंकों को भी इसकी जरूरत है, बट बैंक इस्लामी को डेफिनेटली अगर हिस्टोरिकली देखें तो 3 साल पहले जिस लेवल पे विदाउट रिलैक्सेशन कार होता था वो तो टोटली नॉन कंप्लायंट लेवल था। तो आज अगर विदाउट रिलैक्सेशन 14.15 पे है तो उसके अंदर डेफिनेटली एक कंपोनेंट ये है कि हमें गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर की गवर्नमेंट गारंटीड फाइनेंसिंग जो हम करते हैं जिसपे रिस्क वेट नहीं लगता, वो हमें बेनिफिट दे रहा होता है। अब क्या होता है वहां पे कि एक तो वहां पे यील्ड उसकी कम होती है, मतलब कायबोर के ऊपर जो आप प्रॉफिट मार्जिन कमाते हैं वो थोड़ा होता है बिकॉज रिस्क भी कम होता है। सेकेंडली जो आपने एक रिस्क आइडेंटिफाई किया कि अगर गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर के अंदर कोई ऐसा एसेट क्लास है या ऐसी एंटिटी है जो डिफिकल्ट सिचुएशन में है, तो वहां पर एक कॉन्सेप्ट ये है कि अगर वो प्रॉफिट आपको पे नहीं करती है टाइम पे तो अप्रूवल उसका रोकना पड़ता है। बट इस वक्त हमारे पास हमें ऐसा कोई कस्टमर नजर नहीं आ रहा है, अगर कोई ऐसा कस्टमर है भी तो उसके कैश फ्लो रिंग फेंस हुए हैं, तो इस वजह से हमें इशू आया नहीं है अभी तक, और हमें नजर भी नहीं आ रहा कि फ्यूचर में आएगा।
ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच जी।
अब्दुल्ला खान साहब।
Assalamu alaikum. My first question is, you mentioned that you would open 40 new branches. Would that all be opened in 2022 or there's some yearly plan involved?
हमारा प्लान है कि 2022 में जो है वो we are planning to open 40 new branches. All
Okay,
these will be open in 2022.
I see. And is there any combination of urban versus rural branches?
So State Bank has given us the criteria जिसमें आपने tier 1 में खोलनी है, tier 2, tier 3 and tier 4 है। तो criteria is standard for all the banks. So definitely Bank Islami is no different. So we have to follow that criteria. So accordingly, these branches will be open.
I see. So that criteria, which is applicable on the older branches, is also applicable on the new branches as well, incrementally.
Yeah, this is for the new branches.
I see. My second question is that what is the existing size of your non-Islamic portfolio?
It's very little, like 118 million the non-Islamic portfolio, but इसमें भी जो है what we have done is that we have done agreements. They have not converted into Islamic, but they have been like made non-interest bearing. So we can say that there is no as such any loan outstanding which is non-Islamic unless it is NPL.
I see. My last question is that you have availed an forced sale value benefit of about $1 billion, and the positive impact on profitability or P&L is 636 million, which is roughly 30% of the PAT for the year. Could you explain why this FSV benefit was availed?
The benefit is available from the regulator because as per prudential regulations, primarily इसके अंदर housing है, because housing के अंदर भी अपन housing के अंदर जब भी NPL होता है तो we have the mortgage behind that, तो उसका benefit में मिलता है over the period of 5 years. So mostly वो है, इसके अलावा there are certain corporate customers who have defaulted, तो उसका कुछ benefit है जो as per prudential regulation you can take over the period.
Okay, thank you so much.
Talha Zanatla sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum. First, I want to congratulate you and appreciate the tremendous performance of Bank Islami in the last year or two. So I want to congratulate Mr. Amir Ali for that. I have a few questions. First, my question is regarding there has been an increase in the compensation expenses in the last quarter by 400 million, and I think that might have put out the profit in a way. So what was the reason behind the increase in the compensation for the last quarter?
Mainly actually includes the provision for the bonus for employees. We are not accruing it on the quarterly basis. Now we have decided to accrue because 2020 was the first year when actually bank took the provision for the bonus, and now going forward, we have planned and the board has directed us to do the provisioning on quarterly basis.
Okay, so it's now going to be on a quarterly basis rather than annually.
Yes.
Okay. My next question is regarding your current cost of deposit. So if you can guide me, as you know, the KIBOR has been increasing, and you might have been facing cost pressures. So what is the current cost of deposits average?
For 2021, it was under 4, and definitely going forward it increased. But what we are trying to do is that we are matching it. We're trying to match it with the repricing of our portfolio. As the KIBOR is increasing, our asset portfolio also is subject to repricing. So what we actually tends to do it that we reprice our liability portfolio as our asset portfolio reprices. So there is no pressure on the spread, or if there is any pressure, so we can able to minimize it.
But इंडिकेटर आपका तला ये होगा कि अगर 2020 की आप कॉस्ट ऑफ डिपॉजिट जो पब्लिश भी हो रही होती है अकाउंट्स के अंदर वो देखेंगे वर्सेस 2021, तो 2020 के अंदर इंटरेस्ट रेट शुरू में हाई थे पॉलिसी रेट, तो उस वक्त तकरीबन 4.5% से ऊपर थी, और जब लास्ट 2021 क्लोज हुआ तो 3.5% से ऊपर थी. अब रेट्स हैव अगेन गॉन अप, तो नेचुरली इट विल बी समथिंग लाइक बिटवीन 4.5 टाइप की कोई चीज अब you will experience अगर रेट्स यहाँ से और ज्यादा ऊपर नहीं जाते, because we have to pass on a portion of increase in market based rates to our depositors.
Okay. और दूसरा सवाल मेरा ये है कि how much of your advances have been repriced? How much of your advances and your investments have been repriced, and what is the average yield that you're getting on those deposits? Sorry, on your advances and your financing.
Before a recent hike in the KIBOR, our 80% of the portfolio, I would say more than 80% of the portfolio was repriced. But the hike in the KIBOR is a very recent phenomenon, and our average repricing, the portfolio is for 6 months. In 6 months time, our more than 80% of the portfolio gets repriced, because there is a portion of housing portfolio where we have locked rates for 1 year. So there's a portion of portfolio in the housing. Otherwise, in the recent new business book in the housing portfolio, these are being repriced on 6 monthly basis. So purana portfolio which takes a year. So in 6 months time, I would say that more than 80-85% of the portfolio, asset portfolio, gets repriced.
Okay, and my last question is regarding. There are two questions. One is regarding the interest rate expectation. So we have seen recently that the difference between the policy rate and the KIBOR has, it has kept on increasing, and the market is expecting an increase in interest rates. So what is your view on interest rates?
Actually, the way the inflation is going up, and we have seen the commodity prices, and which is affecting the overall economy in Pakistan. We expect that the interest rates will go up from, let's say, from 1% to 1.25% till June 2022. Of course, the impact is going to be there as far as our asset portfolio is concerned, especially the investment portfolio, which is about 70% has been repriced. the remaining 30% will be repriced in the next month or so. So I believe that that impact of interest rate increase is going to be incorporated into our asset portfolio, investment portfolio in the next, like the CFO said, in the next 6 months.
Okay. And my last question is regarding I would ask Mr. Amir Ali to respond to this, the future of banking. We have seen recently there has been a lot of startups and in the fintech space. And we all know that the way people are going to bank is going to be quite different the way they are banking right now. Like a lot of, like me, I don't even go to a bank and I do all my banking through online channels. So are there any investments or are there any things that Bank Islami is planning on to do in the fintech space? Thank you so much.
देखिए जो आपका question है, it is very right. It is something which is very pertinent to every bank in Pakistan, or in terms of delivery channels, because जो भी हमारे पास सर्विस है उसको डिलीवर करने के डिफरेंट चैनल है, which can be electronic or which can be physical. So there will still be a need for physical channels for high value goods. Means so if someone wants to put up a power plant, तो वो power plant online नहीं, ना वो order करेगा power plant या cement plant online, ना उसकी financing online हो. But if somebody wants a car finance, probably it will be online. Same ways, if there is a large fund who wants to do some investing, then the fund also need some human investment in human. So it will always remain a combination of that. जहाँ पर आपके human beings रहेंगे, but वो high value transactions के ऊपर चले जाएंगे, और जितनी low value transactions हैं वो digital channels के ऊपर चली जाएंगी. So same ways, Bank Islami has an internet banking applications through which you can do pretty much all banking transactions, and a mobile banking application, वहाँ से भी आप सारी transactions कर सकते हैं, ATM में भी जाके कर सकते हैं, प्लस ब्रांच के अंदर अगर आप आ जाते हैं तो ब्रांच भी अंदर से हमारी, you can do all transactions on the branch counter electronically. तो हर branch counter electronically biometrically enabled है, which is, and Bank Islami is the only bank in Pakistan which has this capacity कि उसका branch counter भी electronic या biometrically enabled है, means आपको कोई पेपर नहीं चाहिए, कोई प्लास्टिक नहीं चाहिए उस पर ट्रांजेक्शन करने के लिए. बट ये कॉम्बिनेशन रहेगा फॉर ऑल कन्वीनियंस ट्रांजैक्शंस एंड जैसे हम मार्केटिंग में भी गुड्स को क्लासिफाई करते हैं, शॉपिंग गुड्स, कन्वीनियंस गुड्स एंड लग्जरी गुड्स. तो जिसमें आपके लग्जरी गुड्स होते हैं, मीन फॉर एग्जांपल इफ यू वांट टू बाय अ हाउस ऑफ 2000 स्क्वायर यार्ड, आप उसको ऑनलाइन बाय नहीं करेंगे, यू विल फिजिकली गो एंड लुक एट द हाउस कि कैसा लगता है, और इस तरह उसकी फाइनेंसिंग की प्रॉब्ली जो होनी होगी 10-15 करोड़ रुपए की, वो ऑनलाइन शायद ना, उसके लिए कुछ फिजिकल वेरिफिकेशन. लेकिन जितने कन्वीनियंस गुड्स होंगे वो आप जो माइक्रो लैंडिंग है या नैनो लैंडिंग है, ये सारी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक हो जाएगी. सारी स्मॉलर ट्रांजैक्शंस जो होंगी जो कन्वीनियंस कैटेगरी में फॉल करती हैं, वो सारी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक हो जाएगी. तो ये दोनों चैनल चलते रहेंगे, और जो बैंक्स दोनों चैनल्स में नहीं होंगे वो सफर करेंगे अनलेस कि उनका एक स्पेसिफिक फोकस हो. फॉर एग्जांपल देयर आर डीएफआईज को ये चैनल्स नहीं चाहिए बिकॉज दे आर इनटू प्रोजेक्ट फाइनेंस, इक्विटी मार्केट्स, debt financing, large size projects, and there are probably microfinance banks जिनके पास large size projects नहीं आएंगे, तो उनका focus सिर्फ electronic banking ज्यादा होनी चाहिए. But there are commercial banks who are between, जो दोनों चीजें कर रहे हैं, तो उनको सबसे ज्यादा जो है ना वो आपदा का आना होगा, उनको दोनों चीजें अपने पास बिल्ड करनी.
Farooq sir, I think we'll take the last question because we are running out of time. We're supposed to close at 5 o'clock. It's 5:10 already. Farooq sir.
Assalamu alaikum. भाई सबसे पहले तो आमिर साहब को बहुत बहुत यंग को जो अर्निंग इन्होंने दिखाई है ₹1.92, बड़ी अच्छी. और इन हालात में जो कोविड के हालात हुई है में माशाल्लाह अच्छी अर्निंग बताई इन्होंने, बहुत बहुत मुबारकबाद. और दूसरी मुबारकबाद ये है कि आज कराची स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में ऊपर का लोग है BIPL का, ये भी इनको बहुत बहुत मुबारकबाद. समझे भाई, आमिर भाई को से बहुत बहुत मुबारकबाद. और अभी ये है कि पूरी दुनिया के अंदर इस्लामिक बैंक के बाद ये सूद वाले बैंक तो खत्म भी हो रहे हैं. तकरीबन यहाँ भी सुबह एक बैंक में मीटिंग में रहते हैं, वो इस्लामिक नहीं है, लेकिन वहाँ भी यही बात हो रही थी कि इस्लामिक होना लाजमी हो जाएगा। अभी माशाल्लाह हमारा बैंक अभी सही मानों में अभी जो नई नई ब्रांच जो खुल रही है उसके अंदर ये पूछना था कि ये जो ब्रांच कितने साल में प्रॉफिट में आती है?
मैं जी रिजवाना था डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन। देखिए इंशाल्लाह उम्मीद हमारा कोशिश होती है कि ये अगर यही वैल्यू रहा प्रॉफिट का और जो डिस्काउंट रेट है तो इंशाल्लाह ये 18 महीने से 2 साल के अंदर प्रॉफिटेबल हो जाएंगे इंशाल्लाह। वरना नॉर्मली आम स्टैटी जो माजी में था वो 2 से 3 साल लगते थे, लेकिन हमारा मोस्टली जो प्रोजेक्शन हम बनाई है वो 1.5 से 2 साल के अंदर इंशाल्लाह ये प्रॉफिटेबल हो जाएंगे इंशाल्लाह।
चले ठीक है, बाकी आमिर साहब को हमारी तरफ से खास बहुत बहुत मुबारकबाद। अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
Yeah, I think it's time to conclude the profit briefing session of Bank Islamic Pakistan, and we would like to thank all the participants. I would see there are certain directors who have also attended the session. We would really like to thank them. Thank you very much for your time.
Sir, this is Hanif, and very also thanks for you. And also thanks for you. We received very handsome answer your side. Thank you very much for all of you.
Thank you everyone. Thank you.
Walaikum.